Okay, welcome back to Orange Hat Reviews, everyone. It is season 3 of the Versus Streams. I am joined by my friend from Facebook, Aaron. How are you?
Hi, I'm good. How are you?
All right.
Cool.
And we're going to be talking about the Black Widow from the MCU, Scarlett Johansson's Black Widow, versus Axel Braun's Black Widow, Lacy Lennon, from Wicked Pictures or Wicked Studios, the Triple X Parody. I did a similar stream to this back in January with a few panelists for the Captain Marvel versus Crapton Marvel, Brie Larson versus, or Kenzie Taylor versus Brie Larson, respectively. And I got a little bit of a good show or a good run on that. I recently saw the Black Widow movie. If you guys want to see my spoiler-free and spoiler reviews, they are pretty recent on my channel. So I watched the parody, well, the first scene of the parody, because the full parody is not yet released. And I gotta say, in the 8 minutes of acting and dialogue and action, Lacy Lennon's performance was actually very well done. You can also tell that she was the one doing the fighting and the action. Where in the Black Widow movie from Marvel, it's like, you guys are doing a lot of cutting between the fight movements and choreography to the point where it looks like mincemeat. It's like, also during the fight between the Widows versus Natasha near the end, you can't even tell who's who. You see one person getting kicked around, then you see another person getting hit, and then it's like, which one's Natasha? Oh, wait, it's that one. Okay. A couple
Ever
of
heard
times.
of camera angles?
Yeah. Which is actually something that Axel himself prides himself on, which is actually a very good thing, because
right.
When Axel Braun shoots his work, he does a very good job with his cinematography. He actually cares about the angles. He cares about the shots he's trying to get. Also, from what I saw in this, or from his promotional stuff, he actually cares about things like, Taskmaster being a guy, Marvel.
Yeah. Did not like that.
Neither did I. So, let's see here.
I can't find my charger.
Yeah. So we still got, no people watching right now. That's kind of... But anyway, let's go to Twitter for 1 second.
Okay, give me a sec. I need to plug my laptop in.
Alrighty. And Price, good to see you.
Hey, long time no see, my friend. How you doing?
Good. I was just going into Twitter to see if you were there. It's like, come on, Price. No, you're there, buddy.
Yeah, I'm at work. So my there's a rainstorm where I'm at, so the rainstorm might be up.
Yep. And let's mute Aaron's mic for a second. So.
No worries.
Yeah.
And just so you know, my phone is at 55% battery. So I'm trying to save my battery to clock out at 9 o'clock. Just give me a heads up, so I'll try to stay as long as I can. Now I'll let you know when I need to get off.
Alrighty.
Give me a heads up.
So, yep. Now, as I was saying, I saw both versions of Black Widow. Well, the version or a scene. Hey, Soul Assassin, good to see you. The
Hey,
scene
what's
with
up,
Lacy Lennon,
Yeah.
the action and dialogue only. As I said in my review, it's only action and dialogue that I watched. And that's all that I reviewed. Because obviously the next part was sexual content, which, well, that I don't feel I really need to review when I'm coming up with this.
Yeah, that's for happy hour.
Yeah. Soul Assassin, if you don't care about spoilers, well, that's fine.
The one thing I will say about this showdown is before Scarlett Johansson did her feminist mouth, she was one of my favorite I guess you say Hollywood crushes, and it's like, oh, you gotta be kidding me. So now I got to decide between a porn star and my Hollywood crush, but so it should be interesting.
Yep. Yeah, that's true. They are on you, or all the spoilers are on YouTube anyway.
Yep.
And so,
your porn.
yes. Yep. Also, Axel Braun actually has a channel on YouTube, which is pretty cool. I heard from the interview with Lethal and the Full Aussie with Lacy that she's thinking about getting a YouTube channel or a Twitch channel started up. Which I think is actually pretty cool.
Nice, yeah. That'd be
I
cool.
mean, a thing that a lot of people really need to remember is that people who work in the adult industry or the porn industry, they're just they're people like you and me. Their job just happens to have sexual content in the mix. Where Axel Braun is a director and whatnot, he directs people, so he gets his vision out there. Lacy Lennon is one of the actresses, so she has sex with the people that she has sex with in those, it's part of her job. And honestly, I've seen some of her work. She actually does a very good job with both the action and the parody, and with the content as well.
The extra content.
Yeah, the extra content, we'll call it that. And I do also want to give a shout out to the Full Aussie because they actually are the ones responsible for getting me into the following Axel, Kenzie, and whatnot. And while the Captain Marvel versus stream was planned after the fact of the Kenzie interview, this one was basically planned as soon as Axel stated that he was doing a Black Widow parody. It's like, okay, well, whoever he casts, I'll basically be doing that versus Scarlett Johansson. And then I heard Lacy Lennon, so then I contacted the guy who does my thumbnails, CJ, or also known as the Fandom Menace, or TFM. And he managed to create a beautiful thumbnail for this versus stream. And he does a great job with them. Yeah, he does a great job with them. So, yeah. Now, while we're still waiting on Aaron, let's go over did you see the Black Widow movie?
I saw bits of it, but ever since the whole feminist stuff came out of it, I just didn't care about it. But I do know Black Widow as a character as far as comic books and how she fights and how she does the thing. So I know about that part. But in regards to the movie, I'm not even going to bother watching it. So if you want to spoil it for me, then go right ahead. I will not care.
Alrighty, because we are going to be discussing spoilers
go right ahead.
Of the Black Widow movie. Yes, I gave that movie a fair chance. I'm wanting to be proven wrong. And while I will admit, from a moviegoer perspective, this movie actually does have a higher score. It has a score of an 8 out of entertainment value, where you're not deconstructing it.
Yeah.
Now, as an objective and subjective viewpoint, the objective first, I basically said this movie had cutting problems. You couldn't tell who was getting hit in the fight. You couldn't tell who was fighting who. I mean, you know that the characters are fighting each other, but because of how quick they are and the messy cutting, you really couldn't tell when it was a fight between two females, which one was Scarlet, which one was the other widow.
Yep.
I mean, between her and Yelena, they had different color hair, so yeah, you could tell. But then you have the black or the widows versus widow fight at the end.
Yep.
And it was just crappy lighting, and you couldn't even tell who the heck was getting crap kicked out of them. I mean, yeah, the fight was brutal, which I actually do like them showing a nice brutal fight because, well, this is a very brutal fight. But you also got to be able to know who's getting hit, you know?
Before you continue, this is that woman wearing white, right? The White Widow or whatever her name is?
No, she was actually in her Black Widow outfit when she was doing the fighting.
No,
in
I'm
that
talking
final scene, or in
I'm
that
talking
scene.
about ScarJo has an opponent. Yeah.
No,
About,
the other one is not, or is not the White Widow. No, there's the whole White Widow thing was just a different outfit, or because they went up because they went up to Siberia to get David Harbour's character out of there.
Okay.
Now, David Harbour's character, I actually liked his character, but he did seem dumbed down. I mean, when I say that, when I say that this movie is 2016 Ghostbusters for Marvel, I mean it in the fact that the male characters in this movie had their standard lowered to make it look like the females were being buffed or were being raised up. Yes, this movie does have or raise the issue of human trafficking. That's good that awareness is being brought out on that because, well, there's a human trafficking problem in this world. Now,
disgusting.
Yes, Soul Assassin is putting out the interviews, and Lacy Lennon actually has her YouTube channel. That's awesome.
For me, this whole movie, the Scarlett Johansson or Black Widow movie, to me, it's just Wonder Woman in 1984 all over again, where they prop up the women, but just disintegrate or demean male characters, just like to make the women look good, kind of thing.
Yeah, I mean
that's what I see.
That's how it is, and it's okay. Lacy, I just became your 200th subscriber, so yeah.
Nice.
Yep. Oh, she'll shoot. Believe me, after she starts getting her content out there, she'll shoot up in subscribers. She's a nerd.
Nice.
She's like us. She likes comics and video games and stuff. And that's
yeah, I'm gonna check it out myself. Nice.
All right.
Now, but as far as between the two fighters, if they're gonna fight to the death, you know, on the screen time for Scarlett Johansson and the porn parody, I'll give it.
I'm not doing a death battle between them because I'm not gonna do a death battle between them. That's one thing we are gonna skip. Keely, we're doing Black Widow, Lacy Lennon versus Black While I did do a fight between, while I did discuss fighting options between Kenzie and Bree, I do remember hearing that Lacy actually is a fan of ScarJo, so I'm not going to do an actual fight scenario between them. But basically in this,
Give me 1 minute, okay?
Yep.
Yeah, give me 1 minute.
Mm-hmm.
Let me just fix something here. I gotta do some of my work real quick. I'll be right back.
Okay. Erin, you still there? No, she's taking care of stuff still. And yeah. So I can't wait for the Battle of the Buffies later this year. Actually, Battle of the Buffies, I believe, is next week. Let me check the calendar while I wait for a couple of my co-hosts to come back. But yes, basically, folks. Yep, that one or Battle of the Buffies is actually next week. Funny, I post Lacy's tags and Price needs to take a moment. Yeah, that is pretty hilarious. And yep, Keely, you are welcome, sir. So yeah. Also, folks, my old Facebook account, if you follow me on Facebook, has been deactivated. And it is going to be deleted. I have a new one. You can find me at Daniel Burns on Facebook. And yeah. If you want to friend me on Facebook or talk to me on Facebook, that's where you can find me there. Twitter, it's at OHR2185. That is my new Twitter as well. Soul Assassin can place those two or that link in the chat. And I'm on Instagram too at Orange Hat Reviews. So yeah, you can also find me on Minds. And I think that's it. But yep, and YouTube, obviously. So, how you been, Orange? How's the new place? The new house is actually, well, it's actually a house I lived in at 15 years old. So, it's still up. It's still there. Helping my mom with finances and stuff. So yeah, it's going pretty well. Just been nursing a migraine, basically. Not from that stuff, anyway. But yeah, I think I am seeing a cat tail or dog tail on Erin's camera. But yep. Back to Lacy and ScarJo. Now, don't get me wrong. Scarlett Johansson is a very good actress. She did a good job in this movie. Her acting was good, except that the direction was not. The director of this movie did a horrible job. The writer of this movie did a horrible job of the Black Widow movie. Now, general moviegoers, they aren't going to break this stuff down. Like I said, the moviegoer score is high. It's about an 8 to a 9. But from an objective standpoint, I cannot say that okay, welcome back. I cannot say that the movie is good because the cutting issues, the demeaning of men, basically, in this movie. Also,
yep, exactly.
The logic problems. You have Taskmaster, who is, well, not really Taskmaster at all, because Taskmaster, first off, is a guy. I heard the movie director did only 4 films before this. Yeah, that's the thing about this. This director of Black Widow, she only did 4 movies.
But she's so stunning and brave, though.
Yeah, well, that's the problem with Marvel. They're too focused on identity politics. They're not casting on merit. If you
sexism. Don't forget sexism.
Yeah, it is sexism. If you're not going to cast on merit, then honestly, you shouldn't be in the business. People need to realize that when you are making a big budget film, which this movie should have been made in 2017. This should have been a 2017 release.
Yep.
after Civil War, before Infinity War. And yeah, you could have had the first or the ending scene with ScarJo in her blonde getup. You could have had that at the end of that scene or of the movie. Then this movie would have been totally different if they did it in 2017, because the kids were younger. They would have had different kids, but also I'm pretty sure they would have done it different too. They would have had Taskmaster as somebody or as actual Taskmaster, and not some obscure person that is retconned to be alive, even though she was said dead in Avengers 1. So yeah. Now, believe me, folks, I wanted to like Black Widow, the movie, the MCU movie. Unfortunately, Marvel is pushing a very bad case of agenda over story. I don't mind the whole thing with the human trafficking awareness. That is an actual important issue that I can actually get behind. But if you are pushing identity politics, you will get a very low score in my book. I don't like it. Women
especially with
can Say that again?
I was going to say, especially with the anti-male sexism, to me, I don't care if people say you're weak that you're speaking up, but this is why I'm a big red pill kind of man. That I call this kind of reverse sexism, or the double standards of sexism, where women can bash out men all they want in movies and entertainment, and it's like when we speak up, and it's like everybody throws a fit. Well, tough. This movie is like flat out trying to destroy men, in my opinion. Just make man look bad the entire movie.
Well, that's the thing. Sad to hear this is how they send off Black Widow. And that's the thing, Soul Assassin. They actually do Black Widow a disservice. First off, this whole movie is a disservice to Scarlett Johansson.
Mm-hmm.
Because we already know her character is dead.
Yep.
She died in Endgame. We already know that so there's really no stakes. Well, people will probably say, well, her humanity is intact now. As far as I am concerned, her humanity has always been intact because she understood that there was red in her ledger and she wanted to wipe it out.
Yep.
She started being a very caring person. Also, the real stinger at the end credit scene, the post credit scene, where they got what's her name, Julie Louis-Dreyfus, from Falcon and the Winter Soldier coming in. Do you want revenge on your sister to kill the person who's responsible for your sister's death?
Yep.
It's Hawkeye.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, no. The person who was responsible for her death was herself. She decided to sacrifice herself for the Soul Stone. And, yeah. But, yeah, they basically made this movie just to satisfy people. They made this movie... They should have given it to Scarlett Johansson. She should have been the first one to get a female lead Marvel movie, because, well, she's been in the MCU for so long.
Yep.
She is the one that should have had it. And it's really sad. Now, as for Lacy Lennon, like I said, they only released one scene, but in that scene, she plays a character who is supposedly a teacher and acting like she has no idea what they're talking about, or these two Russian guys that kidnapped her, and she's playing dumb, basically. The thing is, she actually does it pretty well. And yes, she does drop a stupid political line, but honestly, it's it's all right. Parodies are meant to be mocking content.
Yep.
And it's like, oh my God, I can't believe it. And then she's like, oh, or she mentions another teacher and how the other teacher voted for Trump and whatnot. It's like, it's like, oh, well, you know what? I'm not going to judge anybody by who they vote for.
Oh,
That's their business. That's their stuff. That's whatever. And it's a parody, like I said. So her acting is, you know what? Her acting was very good in the scene. She popped up after. The thing that I found pretty cool was she's in a she's in normal civilian clothes, but when she gets out of the seat, or when she pops up, she's in her Black Widow suit.
Like she just jumps out of her suit. She basically just jumps out of her suit then, yeah.
Big props to Axel, because the Black Widow suit in this movie, or in his parody, looks amazing. And that is another thing that Axel does well. His outfits are very well designed.
Yeah, I was gonna say real quick. So I've never seen any of the pictures yet for this parody. Is she wearing just black leather, like for a certain type of fetish, or is it an actual?
Hold on 1 second. I'll actually see if I can share the screen on here.
So I'm thinking, because think about it. If this is a Black Widow parody, porn parody, I'm expecting a Black Widow to wear some kind of bondage, weird crap stuff with some like.
Well, no, it's not bondage at all.
Well,
One thing about Axel Braun that you can always trust is that he will put he'll put a lot of passion and a lot of dedication into his suits. Let me just go to Axel's thing here.
Yeah, I'm just thinking porn parody, Black Widow, so I'm expecting her to wear some kind of like skimpy freaking little, leather outfit or something.
That's actually not what they do. In this, it's actually very, come on. There we go. And yeah, in this, Axel Braun actually cares a lot about his production design, his set design, his costume design. He cares. He's a porn director, but he's a director that could actually do very well in Hollywood.
Yeah.
No, there it is.
Let's see these interesting pictures of this Black Widow parody.
Well, I'm not going to show anything that is too adult. It's just the outfit.
I'm just saying obvious, yeah.
Yeah. That's the one.
Let's see this thing. The funny thing is, how ScarJo has this running her mouth about stop objectifying me. Man, woman, your entire career has been based on you being sexually objectified in most of your movies. So,
that is semi-true. There it is. And now let's do it. Well, let's hope that just pops up first.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, like the movie she was playing that alien or something like that. She's completely new to some of her own scenes. I was like, come on.
Well, she's saying
Hollywood
that.
I was going to say she's been sexualized most of her career. So.
Well, not only that, when it comes to Black Widow, the character herself is a sexual character, because when you were a spy in that way of life.
Mm-hmm. Well, I'm talking about ScarJo Johansson, not the character.
Yeah, well, she plays the character.
Yeah.
Okay, so this is the outfit.
Yeah, that's not bad. Not bad at all. Yeah, it has a little bit of almost like a cosplay, awesome cosplay. Yeah.
Well, the thing is, it's functional, and it's also meant for, or it's also very well done. I mean, even down to the stingers.
Well, and down
the wrist things.
You had to zoom in right there. I'm kidding.
Well,
I'm kidding.
yeah, and even Lacy
kidding,
looks
bro.
beautiful, or even Lacy looks great in with the
Yeah.
makeup and whatnot.
So, like I said, I see that like an awesome made cosplay. Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah. Also, let's see here. We also have Taskmaster, where everybody knows the ski goggles from the MCU.
Mhm.
We get a real Taskmaster in this one.
Let's see. Yeah. Isn't it Taskmaster where the Deadpool has a lot of fun picking on?
Deadpool is the only person to actually beat Taskmaster,
That's what I mean.
or one of the only people to. Yeah.
That's what I mean. He just annoys the hell. He just annoys the hell out of Taskmaster in the funniest way possible.
Yeah, but also Taskmaster. A lot of people say, "Well, Taskmaster is a villain, so he's always going to lose." Wrong. Taskmaster is actually one of the most dangerous villains in Marvel if you truly think about it. But yeah, this is Taskmaster in Axel Braun's film, and I think that it looks leaps and bounds better than the one that they put in the MCU film.
Yeah, isn't Taskmaster just wearing like a biker style helmet just to look at it? Am I wrong?
He's wearing, she is wearing a ski mask or ski goggles with a little bit of skeletal look. And the reason why,
basically, yeah.
the reason why they did it is so that they wouldn't tick off China, because China doesn't like skeletal stuff. And it's like, you know what? Sometimes you just gotta stand up. Yes, Deadpool is unpredictable to Taskmaster. Sometimes you see when Orange zoomed in, we don't.
Exactly.
Yes.
I knew he was going to do that. I knew this was going when he did that. We all did.
I would love for Axel Braun to direct Shadow of the Kraken porn parody. Well, I'm pretty sure that if he finds any interest in it, I'm pretty sure he'll probably do it.
Well, here's a funny notion. Since China apparently doesn't like skeletons, then they won't like Ghost Rider then.
Yeah. Oh, also, it was
welcome back.
hilarious when DC. Yep, there's Aaron. It was hilarious when DC or Marvel said nobody cares about canon, and Axel tweets, "I care." Well, there we go. Can you still hear us, Aaron?
Welcome back.
Yeah. Sorry about that. I had to.
Well, I let her speak her piece because I've been talking too much. I'll let her talk.
Yeah. That's all right.
Oh, yeah.
So
I watched Black Widow this morning.
What were your thoughts?
I wasn't too. Well, I just thought it didn't make any sense. I mean, it was everywhere. And the best. I mean, because she's not the same in this movie. I liked her best in the first Avengers, mainly. Yeah. She was really good in the first Avengers. But she was totally different in this newer film. She seemed different to me. And the origin story, to me, didn't really hardly make any sense. That's just me. And the thing that they did with the Taskmaster was just,
Can you explain the differences, or do you know? Explain to us the differences between Avengers, Black Widow versus this one. Which is more different?
Definitely Black Widow. Black Widow was much different.
I don't know, but how was she different in this one compared to the Avengers? It's kind of curious.
How can I explain that?
No worries.
She wasn't as well written.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
So I just thought that the writing for Black Widow was kind of sloppy to me. That's just me.
Well, you're not alone there.
It was basically all crammed together in just one film, basically.
You do see shades of her character, or of Black Widow, in this movie, but then you also see the very condescending in a totally different atmosphere of this character in this movie as well.
Yeah.
That's why I was asking
Yeah.
what the difference is. Is this like a feminist version of Black Widow, or is there like a natural difference in personality? That's what I'm
It
trying to figure out.
it is. I mean, you gotta. Or there's this friend character of hers in this movie that gets her what she needs, like a stealth Quinjet and other things. And it's like, okay, but the guy seems like he's an idiot in some ways. I mean, he just seems like he's just there for comedic purpose.
Or I would say a comedic punching bag, if you know what I mean. Women use guys like that as a punching bag, or emotional punching bag.
Exactly. I'm looking up Olga Kurylenko's.
That's one thing. I'm not saying for all women, but I see that a lot of that in feminists where they use guys like that as like their emotional punching bag, something to put down or something to make
She
fun
also
of. And
had it also kind of seemed like she was feminist. You know, Black Widow. It just feels
it
feels very left wing to me. Just to me, it did. So,
fourth wave.
Yeah.
Because first wave feminism, I have no problem with. And when it comes to feminism nowadays, I'm like, you gotta be kidding me.
It's just straight up misandry.
I mean, there are women out there that fought for rights, and that's fine. But when you have women handing against men and everything like that, it's kind of like that's a little bit too far, I think.
It's basically straight up misandry. It's just straight up misandry. Period.
Yeah.
And that is why I think that in this specific case, Black Widow, Scarlett Johansson's Black Widow movie, Black Widow, is lesser than Lacy Lennon's. Lacy Lennon, her character is telling a story. Her character is acting in a mocking sense. Sure, her character is basically playing, or she is playing, Black Widow.
The real Black Widow.
Yeah. She's not playing like Brie Larson did. Brie Larson. She's playing a character. She's getting into the role. And you also see in some of Axel's pictures, it shows Lacy Lennon is actually doing some of the fight training and whatnot.
That's because she's actually into the character, not for the clout. You know what I mean?
Not to mention, I believe Black Widow is Russian, and they don't exactly portray her as Russian because she's supposed to have a Russian accent, from what I understand.
Well, she does speak Russian in certain areas, but and yes, Scarlett Johansson does not do a very good Russian accent.
Or she doesn't do it on purpose.
I actually come across a game like years ago. It's called Spider-Man Web of Shadows, and the woman who voiced Black Widow in the game is actually better than Scarlett Johansson, in my opinion, because she sounded more Russian than Scarlett did. That's just my opinion.
Well, and that's why I think Scarlett Johansson didn't even try to do a Russian accent. She just didn't care. She did her own thing.
Yeah,
exactly.
They don't care about the movies. All they care about is the money they make. That's just
and politics.
That's basically what it is down to right now. Yes,
money and the politics in it. Yeah.
And the way I see it, Axel Braun's porn parody. Yeah, and the way I see it, Axel Braun and his parody is he's showing more dedication and more respect to Marvel than Marvel is showing respect or is doing, because Marvel, they're all about that. They're all about the money, and they're all about making profits. Well, that's because Disney owns Marvel, and also Disney happens to be in debt. But it's like, are you seriously going to say that but the brass text is, I said this in my spoiler review, that a porn parody has more respect for source material and whatnot than the actual company that owns the material you can tell, or that's when you got to think to yourself, what the heck is going on? Because I'm sorry, I think that Axel Braun could actually do the MCU a lot better than what Kevin Feige right now.
We need someone like him for Star Wars too. That's just me.
Well, yeah. I mean, Axel Braun, he actually cares about what he's doing.
Yeah, just like I would say almost most beloved fan of Star Wars or Marvel. Any beloved fan would do much better than Kevin Feige and all these people. Because, like I said, all they care about is money and politics in the movies.
Exactly. And
Yeah,
there comes a point.
Yeah.
There comes a point when you gotta realize that Marvel, you're pushing away fans. You're pushing away people who want to see the stuff.
Yeah, dividing them.
And you're trying to pander to people who don't give a crap about your movies or your comic books. Yeah,
exactly. The people who are saying we need this in movies, we need to show that women are strong female characters. Motherfuckers, you already proved that.
They don't give a crap. Yeah, they don't care. They do not care.
I mean, you had freaking Black Widow in the Avengers movie killing freaking aliens.
Yeah, I mean, she was a badass in the first Avengers. I haven't seen the other two, but I have seen the first one. And I loved her in that one. I loved her because she was a powerful female character. She wasn't pushed or anything of the sort. She was,
she had nothing to prove.
She kicked ass.
She already proved it.
And not only that, she wasn't a Mary Sue either. She actually struggled during those movies too.
Exactly. She wasn't Mary Sue either.
Yes.
And
she
now,
struggles in those movies.
Yeah, I don't care for her character much anymore because I just saw the Black Widow and I was not enthused. I was not amused or, I was not impressed by her performance. I just thought it sucked. That's just me.
Yeah. Focus on the fans that buy the merch, read the books, comics, watch the films, then the fans. Yeah. Good point, Soul Assassin.
I wish I could read the comics. I wish I could get my hands on some of the original ones, but I haven't. I was born in '95, so I didn't. My mom's the only one that really read all the comics. Because she's even told me about. That's how I learned about Marvel's my mom. She always told me about. Because I even asked her. Because I remember watching X-Men when I was real young, and I asked her, "Hey, Mom, who's that?" Or, "Hey, Mom, who's this character?" She told me everything about the character because she knew about it. She's read the comics. She's seen the old cartoons, everything. So that's how I learned about the characters. Because she told me about them. Because she grew up with them. She grew up with Stan Lee, too. So, I mean,
Yeah.
See, that's why I said before, the fourth phase of Marvel in general, I just don't bother anymore.
After this one, I'm done with Marvel. Or after I saw Black Widow, it's like, I'm done with the MCU.
I've been done since they came out with, what was the last one?
Endgame?
Yeah. Because they killed off Tony Stark. They killed him off. I'm like, what? What? Come on. Why did you kill him off?
To be 100% honest, that is a fitting death.
It did happen in the comics, yeah. It did happen in the comics.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
It's a good full circle because he went from not giving a damn about anybody to giving a damn about the entire universe.
Not to mention sacrifice for his daughter.
So he basically he was betrayed in the films just like in the comics. Okay, I've never read the comics, so
yeah, but ever
since
those a read
sometime.
I'm done.
Yeah, they ruined the Hulk. They ruined Thor. Oh my gosh.
Oh yeah, they.
Chris Hemsworth. Oh my god, he's hot, and it's like you give him a freaking fat bod, and you're like, what? He's supposed to be ripped. People, come on. He's Thor. He's Asgard.
Yeah, they're basically saying that. They're basically saying that depression. Well, yes, depression can make a person basically stressy and whatnot, but it's like, come on.
He's Asgard. He's a god.
Well, like I said, they basically cut for Captain Marvel, pretty much.
Yeah,
that'd be like if they took. It's like if they took Hercules and rewrote him like that. People would be upset, I'm sure.
Oh yeah.
Oh, definitely. And the thing is,
be right back.
All right.
excuse me,
And
sorry.
it's okay. Now that I think we got that all out of the way, so. But yeah,
Yeah, it's just I thought when they made the Hulk intelligent, it's like what?
yeah, and then they made him do the dab, and I'm like, you gotta be kidding me with that. Seriously?
That's just. I'm sorry. I seen clips of it. Now I tell you one thing right now. I love the part where Thanos kicked Marvel's ass. That was hilarious.
Oh yeah, I mean,
Oh
I
my
love
god.
the. Somebody made a clip about that. Somebody made a clip where he knocks her out with the Power Stone. Then you got Chris Tucker. You got knocked the fuck out. And I'm like,
oh my god,
yep,
it's like
that's the clip. That's the part. Right, that's
it's like boom, bitch.
cut, print, check the gate. But yeah, but getting back to the topic at hand, basically, this is why I think that Axel Braun and his Black Widow, as he releases more scenes, will be more superior. It's because you got people who care about the role. You got people who care about doing a good job. You got people who care about entertaining the people who are going to watch the content. What did the 5-finger gauntlet say to the face? Slap. Yeah, exactly. Soul Assassin.
Bitch slap. More like it. It's like my gauntlet, bitch. Bam.
Yep. And the way I see it, is that you got to be able to tell a story that everyone can get on board with.
Yeah,
yet
it's like
you can't expect to please everyone. But if you're going to piss off anyone, make sure you piss off the least amount of people. Also, when you are marketing your movie, you don't go on a whole thing like, oh, this is going to be a strong female thing. We already know the character's a strong female. We already know that that she is a strong female because she's already proven that. What we care about is the story that you are telling. But here's the thing, Marvel, you even screwed that up.
Yeah. Yeah, I've been hearing rumors, too, that people walked out of the theater unsatisfied. And it's like, I felt the same way when the movie finished. I'm like, it's like it didn't make any sense because you couldn't follow the story.
Yeah, let me look up on Rotten Tomatoes of all places.
It's like, the fans, they have more, like, people making fan films, especially for Star Wars. I've seen plenty of fan film for Star Wars in my time. And I've seen more dedication, more time put into the films than what Disney's been doing with their content. Because they don't care about who's watching the movies. They just care about fame, fortune, they care about their agenda, and they care about money. That's the only thing they care about. They don't care about anything else. They don't even care about pleasing the fans. They just care about themselves. Yeah. It's like...
All right. Black Widow. I'm on Rotten Tomatoes right now.
Okay.
So, Black Widow. What you need to know. Black Widow's deeper themes are drowned out in all the action, but it remains a solidly entertaining standalone adventure that's rounded out by stellar supporting cast. Now, okay, it's 80% on critic and 92% audience score. Well, yes, audiences and moviegoers are saying that this movie is good. So, general moviegoers, like I said, it is entertaining. It's an 8 to a 9. So, yeah, I'm sorry, let's take a look at this thing. All critics, 80%. Top critics, 74%. That's roughly around what I said that the movie is, a 7 or a 6. Well, I said it was a 6. But you also got to remember that, Rotten Tomatoes is already kind of a shell site, really, for most movies from Disney. because they already got exposed. You're going to write great reviews, but you're also going to say or give. You can write a bad review, but you're going to give it a high score. That's some of the things. I mean, let's take a look at the audience. Yeah. Verified audience. All audience. All audience is 85%. Isn't that interesting? The verified audience is 2,500 plus, where the all audience is 5,000 plus, and it's 85%. So that goes to tell you that, well, here's the thing, folks. A lot of the audiences are not satisfied. 15% of the audience on Rotten Tomatoes is not satisfied with how the movie went. I mean, me, if I could actually do the whole verification thing, I would. But unfortunately, my theater doesn't count as a verified theater for Rotten Tomatoes. So, yeah. We are getting to 9 minutes before the top of the hour. And I do want to get back to the topic at hand, where basically, the way I see it, Axel Braun cared enough in just this one scene shows you how well he is doing, or how well he does his content. Yes, there's the sexual content in his stuff. It's a porn parody, but even if you take the sex stuff out of it and just watch the dialogue, the acting and the action and whatnot, you realize that, this is actually pretty good writing. It's meant to mock the original thing. It's a fun mockery, which is what parodies are. And you actually see that he also cares enough with costume design and whatnot to make the actor or actress look amazing. And believe me, Lacy Lennon looked very good, and she looked freaking stunning in that Black Widow outfit.
That's cool.
And when I review the other scenes as they come along, I will be basically continuing to give it an objective look. So yeah, when it comes to Scarlett Johansson's Black Widow from the Black Widow movie versus Lacy Lennon's,
yeah.
When it comes to that, I would say that Lacy Lennon actually does a better job because she's focusing on the acting and the story and whatnot. She also did her own fighting sequence.
That's good.
And she's
cool.
She's a fun person. She's not drowned out by all that other stuff. Where Scarlett Johansson, how you doing, Tim? Where Scarlett Johansson, while she's a good actress, understandably, they have to get her a stunt double because some of the stuff that they did in that movie was brutal. I mean, smacking her back against a damn table or desk and stuff, that's going to hurt a person.
Yeah.
So I can understand why the need for a stunt double. But even the stuff that showed her doing some of the stuff, it was just mess. It was just a mess, and it was just not done well. It was cut fluid, like mincemeat or pulled pork. But with Lacy Lennon's,
it wasn't any good either.
Yeah, you see how she fights. You see how you see how she acts and whatnot, and you actually see a person who cares about what they're doing. Yes, Scarlett Johansson also does care as well, but the choreography was just not that good in the Marvel movie. I'm not doing now, folks. I'm going to tell you this 100% straight right now. How are you doing, Demaj? I am not doing this stream to piss on Marvel and to bump up the porn industry. I'm literally giving an objective comparison. from what I have witnessed from both the parody and the movie itself. What I am seeing is that Axel Braun cares more about Marvel than Marvel does. He cares more about casting and about telling a freaking funny story along with it being a porn film, but he does porn with a plot, and he does it well. Where Marvel is just, they're going into so many different directions, and they're doing a disservice to many of their characters. There's this one guy on Twitter. I can't even remember his name. Nobody cared about Taskmaster until they saw this film, because he's such an obscure character. It's like, really? I've cared for Taskmaster since I was introduced to him almost a full decade ago. You see, when I saw him in Avengers Alliance, and he's a formidable looking character, then I read up on him, saw some of the stuff he did in comics. It's like, oh wow, this is an interesting character. And he quickly became my my third favorite character in Marvel. Hulk being my first, X-20. We're closing up soon. X-23 being my second favorite, and Taskmaster being my third. Believe it or not, Deadpool is my fourth favorite character.
Love Deadpool. He's awesome.
Yeah.
My three has always been, or shall be, Captain America, Deadpool, and Doctor Strange.
Nice. So yeah, that is why I think that Lacy Lennon actually is a better Black Widow in this particular instance of this versus stream than Scarlett Johansson in her Black Widow movie, because it was poorly directed. It had crap writing. Big time. They did a horrible job with the balance of the film. And yeah, it just wasn't that well done. The cutting of the fight scenes were horrible. You didn't even know who was who in that fight scene between the Widows and Black Widow at the end near the end of it.
Yeah.
Where it was like 8 on 1, and it's like, okay, which one's Black Widow? Unless they do a clear shot of who she is, but then they do the obscure shots for the stunt double. It's like, all right, which one is her? Oh, okay, the one that just got slammed against the desk. You find out right that second that, okay, that was her. But then you got Lacy Lennon, who did her own fight sequence, and she actually did a pretty good job doing it. Remember, folks, when I said that I reviewed only the action and dialogue of the parody, that's all I did. That's all I reviewed. That's all there was that I looked at for my review. And what I saw was Lacy Lennon doing a very good job acting. She was fun to watch. Her performance was impressive. Where Scarlett Johansson's acting in this movie, I wasn't really that much of a fan. As much as I like Scarlett Johansson, as much as I like the character of Black Widow in the Marvel universe, this just wasn't her best work. And so we are going to wrap it up here, because I am going to have to jump over to Jade Shadow's channel in the next couple minutes. And I do want to thank everyone for watching. Damaj and I jumping in at the last moment. Thank you, sir. Soul Assassin, Tim Possible, the Sentinel, and all those others who were just watching, Keely Chow, and those who also were watching that didn't leave a comment. Thank you guys for showing up. You guys do make the difference on my channel. You guys actually, your support is everything. You should start another versus series, Orange, a movie versus spoof or remake. Focus on plot, stunts, and actors. You know what, Soul Assassin? I might actually do that. I might actually do that later on down the line when things get more stable where I am, because believe it or not, in the next few months I might be moving again.
Oh boy.
So yeah. Anyway, folks, that's going to be the stream. Thank you very much to Aaron and Price is Right. You guys are freaking awesome. Stay
Thank you.
tuned for next week, folks, when I bring out the Battle of the Buffys. Buffy the Vampire Slayer versus Buffy the Vampire Slayer, Christy Swanson versus Sarah Michelle Gellar. And I
Oh, okay, I
have
might have to watch that. I've not seen it.
Yeah, I have a full panel for that one, and it's going to be freaking awesome. And I will see you all there. It will be Friday night, 9 p.m., back to the normal time. So, yeah, thank you all for tuning in. If you catch this on the replay, let me know your thoughts on what this video or what we all discussed. Let me know your thoughts. And this has been Orange Hat Reviews, folks, and panel. Have a wonderful day, and also remember, stay humble.